Hello and welcome to the Bohemican Podcast. I'm your host, Pete Coleman. Welcome to Prague. We're actually just outside of the Old Town District right now, and we're getting ready to actually go down to Letna Street with Travis Dow, and we're going to talk about the Knights Templar tonight. On this podcast, we've talked a few times about the Knights Templar in our audio podcast, which you can get on iTunes. But this time we're going to actually have a video representation of the Black Madonna and Letna Street, one of the most haunted streets here in Prague. So if you can, join us tonight and we'll give you a little insight into some of the legends about the Knights Templar.
Alright, so here we are on Letna Street. That's this one here behind me. And Letna Street is an interesting street. I think we talked about this on your Halloween episode. So maybe go look it up there. But Letna Street at the turn of the 20th century was considered one of the most haunted streets in Prague, and people were kind of like worried about walking along it at night. That's actually not why we're here. We're here because of the House of the Black Madonna behind us. Here on the corner of the building, there's that little statue. I hope you can make it out there in YouTubeville. But the Black Madonna is a really interesting kind of phenomenon within the Catholic Church. So there's Black Madonnas for various reasons. Sometimes they're just really old paintings of the Virgin Mary that over time aged and turned black. Like there's a really famous portrait in Poland, for instance, that has that. Other times, for other reasons, like sometimes it's related to different kind of cults like Osiris and Isis, which were the Egyptian gods, but also often depicted as a mother and infant, and also often black, so Black Madonna. Something like 400 in France, and there's also a couple hundred in Bohemia, and this is one. And one reason that there's so many is, in addition to the reasons I mentioned, there was a Black Madonna in every single Knights Templars church. No one knows exactly why, but there was. This one is no exception. So the Black Madonna, we've gone over the history of the Knights Templars in Prague. I believe there's a site behind the castle which was then used as wine cellars and as natural caves. That there's masonry to reinforce it, and now it's a really nice restaurant. There's a site by the river, and there's also one very nearby, which gives us the story of this Black Madonna. And we'll take you there. We're going to go there right now. If you find her, kind of like in a Dan Brown novel, you just kind of follow her gaze and see where she leads. And maybe we'll find out a little bit more about the Knights Templar.
Travis was saying the eyes of the Black Madonna are coming straight over here to this little alleyway of Templarska. And in Templarska, actually will take you back to behind where we're going to go in a few minutes to the Angels.
The alleyway here. The reason it's called Templova, it's not a coincidence. The Knights Templars church actually did once stand here, and it's just a little unassuming wooden church, and the foundations are still there. And because again, Prague used to be a lot lower, so part of the foundations of the church still remain and kind of hold these buildings up. But this church was called the Ascension of St. Paul, and that was the Knights Templars headquarters basically in Prague, and which I guess most people don't know. That people are just walking by it like it's nothing, but it is pretty cool. And that Black Madonna was actually in here in the church, and the reason it's still around is because after the Knights Templars' demise, they burnt this church to the ground, and they really burnt it. Everything was completely destroyed, except miraculously, if you will, the Black Madonna was unfazed in the middle, untouched, unburnt. So they kept it.
We want to thank you tonight for joining us on the Bohemican Podcast on YouTube. We want to make sure that you get a chance to look at all our other podcasts as we put them on YouTube in the near future. If you want more of the Bohemican Podcast, you can go to iTunes to download our free audio podcast and find more information on Bohemican.com. For Travis Dow, I'm Pete Coleman from Prague, saying Nas Badano.